as Christian women, what kind of men should we be submitting ourselves to? Well, I'll tell you, none of them. We don't submit ourselves to men. We submit ourselves to God. And I have seen a lot of people misinterpret the scriptures to make people believe that men run the church. No, God runs the church. Men are not in charge of the church. The Holy Spirit is in charge of the church. That's the head of the church, not man. And people often use Ephesians 5:22 to try to justify this. They'll say, wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. And they'll say, oh, well, wives are supposed to submit to their husbands, so all women are supposed to submit to men. No, you're supposed to submit to your husband. But you're not my husband. You're just some random dude. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to listen to you, beloved. Just because you are a man, it does not mean I have to listen to you. Sorry. So I'm going to impart some wisdom to you men out there who notice that women don't give you any respect and women don't listen to you. And I'll tell you why women don't listen to you. I'll explain to you what makes a good leader and what makes women like you. And as for you Christian women out there, y'all need to learn to recognize the voice of the Lord, because y'all talk about, oh, you have to let a man lead. You have to let a man lead. And then you literally let a man lead you to hell. Like, y'all can't just let any man lead you. Y'all have to have the discernment as to whether or not that man has a true heart of a true leader. So almost every single man in this world wants respect. And a lot of men want power. And I don't think that that's inherently a bad thing. Power is necessary in order to enforce good things. But the problem is that men think that there are shortcuts to getting respect. They think that there's shortcuts to getting power, where the only way people are going to respect you is if you work the most. Only those that make themselves the least of them can be the most of them. When it comes to leadership, a true leader is a servant leader. And I know y'all think that y'all can pull one over on women. For some reason, y'all think that women aren't smart, but I guarantee you, women are observing you. They're watching what you're doing. They're watching the decisions that you make. And if you are not a servant, no woman is going to respect you. These are things that women are looking for. Women are looking for men who are sacrificial, who are honorable, who have good morals, who put others before themselves, who see all children as their own and all women to be people that they want to protect, even especially women that they're not attracted to, because men will pick and choose who they want to protect. They'll be like, oh, I only want to protect this kind of woman. No. Women are looking at that. They're clocking that. And if you are one of those men who don't see all women and children as a group of people that you need to protect, no woman is going to respect you. And we are watching this. If you are stingy, no woman is going to respect you. So women only give respect and honor to men that have upright character, or in other words, who have the light of Jesus in them. That's what makes a true leader. And I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. So I've had my fair share of leadership, okay? I was the captain of my high school dance team for 2 years and the captain of my collegiate dance team, okay? And let me show you guys, I'll tell you guys what I noticed when I was leading my dance team in college. So I was in charge with 2 other men, okay? And at the beginning of the year, people respected the men more than they respected me, for sure. And I think that's people's default. You know, they're like, oh, okay, that's a man. He's a leader. I can trust him, whatever. And they mostly trusted these 2 guys, okay? But as time went on, people noticed that I was the first one at practice, the last one to leave. I was the one leading the weekend practices, investing into, you know, the dancers that needed that extra help. I was the one that was always there, who, you know, I never bailed. I was there for all of my team, and I was focused, I was sacrificial, and I was loving. I loved every single one of my teammates. And so as the time went on, the entire team kind of observed my behavior and the respect shifted. And at the end of the year, people started coming up to me, the one woman who was leading, and coming up to me saying, you're my favorite coach. You're my favorite this. Like, the other 2 coaches, I'm not sure about them. They're shirking responsibilities, blah, blah, blah. And it got to the point where my other 2 leaders, they could not take authority over the room or the team because, and like, they would like pick up their voice and try to get people to get in line, and they would just flat ignore them. And they would just, the team would just bypass the other two guys and just come to me to ask me questions and to come to me. And that's because they were looking at my servant leadership abilities, and over their observations deemed me the best leader on the team. And so that's what men fail at doing when it comes to being a leader. They don't understand the power in the everyday, sacrificial, mundane, small things that you do for the larger group, that you put off your own needs to be able to, look at the bigger needs, the greater needs for the group that you're in charge of. Men think that power and leadership is about yelling and barking and being the meanest and the most critical. And that has never been what gets the respect of your team. And I've always noticed that those kinds of leaders, and I've seen this a lot in men, they always end up losing the respect of their team. So if you're a man and you're wondering why women don't respect you, it's probably because they notice that you're not that kind of a person. And so they don't want to listen to you. And it's really that simple. So if you really want to be respected, especially by women, you will have the exact same heart of Jesus. Jesus was willing to die for the entire world, whether or not they accepted him. He died even for people that never even received him. He had such a big heart. He was the chief servant. That's why he's in charge, is because he serves the most. That's why he's in charge. He washed the feet of the disciples. He made himself the least. So that's why he's the most. And that's what men have to do. You have to humble yourself. If you're going to get any respect from any woman, if you're going to want people to listen to you, you need to be humble. And as for women, y'all got to start thinking for yourselves. Okay? What has bewitched you, you foolish Galatians? Some of you women get so boy crazy that you've absolutely lost your mind. You've let delusions overtake your common sense, and you're letting this man lead you to hell because you think that you're just supposed to submit to men just because they're men, and a man's supposed to lead, and then that man leads you into sin. No, you need to find Jesus in a person, and don't submit to any man that's not your husband. If you're not my husband, you are a brother in the faith. Period. I don't need to listen to you just because you're a certain gender. And you women, y'all need to start taking up this state of mind. All right? Even when we have a husband, why do we submit to our husbands? Because our husbands submitted to God. So it's a form of submitting to God. I'm not submitting to my husband. I'm submitting to Jesus in my husband. And if Jesus is not in a man, there is no use in submitting yourself to that man. If that man is not sacrificial, wise, loving, caring, serving, don't listen to that man. So yeah, I've just seen a lot of people have this backwards idea of what leadership is, and it really upsets me because a true leader is a servant. That's what makes a real leader. And people think that it's cool to be a leader because you get to tell people what to do, because you get respect from like a team or a group of people. Like, no, in your heart, like deep down, you don't want to be a leader. It's the hardest job. It's a lot of work, and you are not going to be able to sustain your position unless you love your people with all of your heart. That's the only way leaders can stay, without falling away or going crazy. You have to be so filled with love that it keeps you afloat. And I don't think that many people are ready for that.